Hi guys, today we're going to learn how to format a business letter. So watch this video and you should be all set. Okay, so the first thing we need to do, and this is just for me, it's not actually part of the letter, but you know how we can go into the header and type our name, date. I'm just going to put today's date, but you can put the actual date that the assignment is going to be on. And then this one's called sample letter number 1. And I just hit the tab key to get over to where I need to be. And just eyeball it, make sure it looks good. And good enough. And letters always use Times New Roman size 12 for everything. So I'm going to do that also for the header. Perfect. And then you can double click out. Double click in, double click out. Now we have a letter here that needs to be formatted. The first thing you want to do is set your margins, and you go to File, Page Setup, and your margins are 2 inches on the top, 1 inch all the way around, bottom, left, and right. 2 inches on the top, 1 inch bottom, 1 inch left, 1 inch right. Now, if you have an extremely long letter or just a long letter, it's okay to have the top margin at 1. No one's going to come and measure it. But for the most part, you're going to do 2 on the top, 1 bottom, 1 left, 1 right, and say, okay. And I already had mine set up like that. The next thing we're going to do is take our entire letter and change it from the default of Arial 11 to Times New Roman size 12. And the way you do that is Control A. That's select all. It's the shortcut for select all. And you're going to go back to Times New Roman size 12. Okay. Right here, we have the return address, and that's the address of the sender. And after the date, you have to do what's called a quadruple space. And it's going to give you 3 blank line spaces after the date. 1, 2, 3. And you start on the 4th line. That's why it's called a quadruple space, because you're starting on the 4th line. So you have 3 blank line spaces. And you have to take a look at that cursor. 1, 2, 3. You start on the 4th. I think I'll change the date also to today's date. And you're going to use the date of the assignment. Perfect. So right here, we have the return address, which is your address, okay? But for this one, you can just use Sender Street. For the remaining letters, you can use your own address. As I say in class, don't worry, I'm not going to come visit you. Okay, and you can hear my daughter laughing in the background at me. All right, next thing we're going to do is take a look at the recipient's address. Okay, and we have the recipient's name, recipient title, and you only put that if there is one. If you don't have it or you don't know it, you can just leave that out. The recipient's street address, the recipient's city and state, and the zip code. After the recipient's address, you need what's called a double space. And it's going to give you 1 blank line space. Quadruple gives you 3. Double gives you 1. So you always get 1 blank line space than your actual spacing. Okay, I know that's a little confusing. Double space gives you 1 blank line space in between. You enter twice, you get 1 blank line space. Okay, so you have to check for that blinking cursor on that 1 line space. Dear recipient, colon. You use a colon for all business communications. All business letters get a colon. A personal letter would get a comma. So if you were writing a letter to Aunt Sally because she gave you $100 for your graduation present and you want to thank her for it, you could use Dear Aunt Sally, comma. But on a business letter, we're going to go ahead and use the colon because it's more professional, just like in the emails. And we're going to double space after that. Double space gives you one blank line space. See that blinking cursor? It's on one blank line space. So here we have our first paragraph. I use 2 spaces after my periods. You can use one. Either or is acceptable nowadays. In between each paragraph, you also need a double space, which will give you the one blank line space. At the end of the last paragraph, you also need that double space, okay? And there you go, 1, 2, but you have that one blank line space. Okay, I'm going to repeat that up here. We have the 1, 2, 3. You start on the 4th. That's quadruple space. Gives you 3 blank line spaces. Okay. And then we have 1, 2. That's a double space. Gives you 1 blank line space. Double space gives you 1 blank line space. Double space. Double space. Double space. 1, 2 gives you that 1 blank line space. Yours truly, here you get a quadruple space. You have to quadruple space, 1, 2, and you're going to get 3 blank line spaces for a quadruple space, and you start on the 4th line. Okay, so quadruple space up here gives you 3 blank line spaces, and you quadruple space after the yours truly, 1, 2, 3 blank line spaces. Everywhere else is a double space, so that should be easy for you to remember. And then you would put the sender's name here, but for today, we're just going to put sender's name, okay? If it was a letter from you, you would put your first name and last name. Sender's title, if there is one. And the only other thing that you need to learn about this is this word enclosure. It means that something is being enclosed in the envelope. Maybe concert tickets, maybe a copy of a birth certificate, maybe a check. If something is enclosed in the envelope, you need to type that word enclosure, and it has to be double spaced under the sender's name or the sender's title if there is one. Okay? If there's nothing enclosed in the envelope with the letter, you don't even need to type enclosure. So this particular letter, we're going to show you how to use the enclosure option, and it's optional. So if there's something that you're enclosing in the envelope, maybe enclosed in this envelope, you will find concert tickets for the promotion that you won. So it tells the reader of the letter that there should be something in the envelope with the letter. If there's just a letter and nothing in the envelope with the letter, you don't need the word enclosure down here. You just don't even type it. Okay? And that's also a double space. 1, 2. And you get that 1 blank line space blinking cursor. And one other thing I just want to show you. Right here, you have all this blank line space right here. And you know, if we were in class, I would ask you, gee, what's that for? And that's where you sign your name. Ideally, you should use black ink. It's the most professional. If you don't have black ink, a black pen, you could use blue ink. But it's frowned upon to use any other color ink on a professional business letter. So you're not going to sign your professional business letters with red pen or green pen or purple pen or highlighter. Black ink is preferred and blue ink is okay. So that's how you format a block format business letter. You have to kind of memorize the format. So you're going to do what I just did here on your own document and turn it in. Good luck, guys.